Okay, so we are going to pick up our conversation on Unit 5, Standard 3, Graphing with Point Slope Form. Just as a quick reminder on how to graph using point slope form, we first need to identify the point, then we need to identify the slope. So in this problem, our point, remember it's always the opposite of what it appears to be, so our point would be 6 and 4. And then our slope appears in front of the parentheses. So our slope would be -1/2. Then to graph using point slope form, we have to first plot the point that we found. So 6 and up 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to use the slope, and the top number tells us up or down, the bottom number tells us how many right. So this means I'm going to go down 1, right 2. Down 1, right 2. And then I'm going to connect those dots. All the way across the graph, end it with arrows. Let's do one more of this level 3 type problem. First, we'll identify the point. The point is +5 because it appears to be negative, and +2 because it appears to be negative. The slope directly in front of the equal sign. So it's 3/5. So to graph this, we find the first point, 5, 2, plot the point, and then we're going to count the slope. Top number tells me to go up 3, bottom number tells me to go right 5. So up 1, 2, 3, right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then let's connect those dots. All the way across the graph, end it with arrows. Now, in both of these problems, and for level 3, 2, and 1 problems, we had a number in that Y1 or X1 spot. However, for level 4 problems, one of those numbers is going to be missing. And that's because that number would be 0. This problem would be the same as if I had written this. Y minus 0 equals -3/2 x minus 3. Y minus 0 doesn't change anything, but it does now indicate that that Y1 point is really 0. So our point is +3, because remember it's the opposite of what it appears to be, and then 0. I still knew that this was in point slope form and not slope intercept form because it had parentheses here. If those parentheses were missing, then I would know, hey, maybe this really isn't point slope form. Maybe it's slope intercept form because the y is already by itself. Now the slope, again, number in front of the parentheses, it's -3/2. Let's take a look at H. I don't have any parentheses here, but I do have this number over here. So there's two ways that you can work this out. Since it's asking us to do point slope form, I'm going to show you that way first. We are going to assume that this really is still in point slope form. Remember, point slope form is supposed to have a parenthesis here. Well, it's also supposed to have an x coordinate. That's because that x coordinate is really 0. Okay, this did not change anything in the problem because x plus 0 is still just x. The x coordinate of your point was 0. The y coordinate, remember the opposite of what it appears to be, that makes it -5. The slope is the number in front of the parentheses, or in front of the x in this case. So the slope is -4, and we can write it as -4/1. Let's take a look at I before we do a graphing one for a level 4. Again, I'm not seeing the number over here with the y. I don't see a y coordinate. That means that my point is really just 0, and you can rewrite it like this if you'd like, or you can understand that it's 0 and not write it. It's up to you. Either way is fine, because my point is still the same. Opposite of what it appears to be, and 0. See if I can make that a little darker for you guys. There you go. Okay. The slope is found in front of the parentheses, and it's just 2, or you can write it as 2/1. Let's take a look at how I would graph something for a level 4 problem. Remember, I first need to identify the point. I know that the x coordinate is -2, but I don't see a y coordinate over here. That means that it's at 0. And the slope is the number in front of the parentheses. So in this case, our slope is at -4, or -4/1. Especially when you're graphing, it's always a good idea to put your slope over 1 if it's a whole number, because it reminds you that you are moving up or down for the top number, and you're moving right for the bottom number. So I'm going to plot this point first, -2, 0. So I'm going to go right 2 and stay on 0. And then I'm going to count my slope. Down 4 and over 1. I didn't mean to put a dot there, sorry. I'll count that again for you. Down 1, 2, 3, 4, over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, over 1.